Hi, very good evening. Today is the 2nd of June, 2021, and middle of the week on Wednesday. So you must be wondering what's happening at 4:30 p.m. Well, what's next? That's the critical question that all of us are looking to answer, and especially after the decision yesterday of not conducting the board exams for class 12. So there's been a mixed reaction, and of course, I used to quite a bit of attendance and I'm expecting more of these students to come up, primarily because there is quite a bit of dilemma as to I have been preparing, even though it has been online, and for most part of the year last year, and that's why class 12 should I call it. So most parts of class 12 have been online and students have been appearing for their exams uh, and their classes and their projects, everything from home. The teachers have been doing a great job. And of course, technology has played a very, very vital role that all of us are sitting in our own comfort zones and yet have been able to get access to whatever we were intending to do. So as is, it happens that when each one of us, I mean, for example, when I was in class 12, obviously the next big question mark was, when am I going to get out of my uniform? And when am I going to get admitted to uniform? The college means that you have matured, you become an adult, you can go in what is called as plain clothes. Nobody's going to catch us if we were to sneak out home or go to a restaurant or maybe even to a well, bar. Okay. What Sunday afternoon. I don't know. A lot of things that we could have done perhaps. Okay. So critically, these were things that we would have thought about. Now, here is a condition which perhaps today when I was thinking about it, in fact, yesterday evening when I was thinking about it, what if after all this preparation for what is called as a board exam, where I'm being compared with what my elders got in the school, what my neighbor got in class 12, right? What was the percentage marks? So many comparisons could have happened. I guess all the parents are now, putting their hands in their cheek and thinking, now with whom do I compare my kids? I mean, so therefore there is going to be no exam. And obviously, everybody is not able to clearly understand that why is it that we are not able to take the exams after all this preparation. So if that be the case, then what do we do? So we have to think about what's next. So in this What's Next series, which is being brought to all of us by NSHM, a college of repute which has been there for a quarter of a century in East India, and it has two locations. One which is in Durgapur, industrial town in the South Bengal area, and another in Kolkata. And in this campus, they have more than 25,000 students who are alumni from this college over the years in various programs. And presently, they have more than 5,500 students who are enrolled for their academic sessions. So I hope I am being audible, right? So in case there is a challenge, I'll just change the microphone setting. Just if you could confirm, yeah, is that better now? Uh, so critically, friends, today is a session which is obviously very intriguing for me as well, because I'm meeting a bunch of young men and women who are actually going to say that I have cleared class 12. I have finished my, 12 years of schooling and high school. And the best part is I did not take an assessment. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, and there were a series of discussions how your mark sheet is going to look like, What is the score that is going to come up? Is it going to be valid for the colleges and the universities? And tomorrow, wherever you are going to work, are these transcripts and mark sheets going to be valid? So all these questions have to be answered when we cross the bridge. But before that, the most important thing that we thought is very important is what is next. And what is next is the series of discussions that we're going to have about, well, I did prepare for the board exams. And so I learned all the subjects that I had in my streams. But I did not get assessed about, with how much knowledge did I gain from these subjects. That's the critical question. And if this is the critical question that I'm trying to answer, I prepared and somebody else was supposed to assess me. So why don't I do one thing? Why don't I self-assess myself and send the papers to my friend and ask my friend to give the markings? And you do the vice versa. So I think that should also be a good idea. What do you say? So think about multiple ways in trying to self-assess yourself, that how well are you prepared? And that's about all that we can do today. More importantly, a student's life. I was talking to an artist who was preparing for a performance on stage, a musical performance. And this was last year before the lockdown. And what happened was they did a lot of rehearsals, and after that, the lockdown happened and the program got cancelled. So I asked the artist, how did you feel when you prepared so much for the performance and you did not get the chance to perform in front of the audience? What went through you? You know what she said? She said, well, I had learned all that I had to learn, so I can use this preparation for my next performance whenever it happens. So I presume this is the way to look forward. Critically, today what we're going to talk about, what's next as a process, is again a very, very interesting thing. When I was 3 years old, I perhaps did not even know how to open the door in my house. The door which I take out. Talk about today's 3-year-old kids. You know what they can do? They can actually unlock this mobile and they can go to the right program or right YouTube channel which hosts their favorite cartoon characters. Can you imagine? And that's what we are seeing today. So today we have one of the more interesting areas, and in fact, this, as yesterday one of the students said, computing and analytics is the current future. And today, friends, those of you who have joined this program, this is going to be an interesting discussion. And obviously, I would welcome a lot of questions from you. And today we have a very, very learned person today. And I would like to welcome to this show of NSHM What's Next series for class 10 plus 2 students, Dr. Suparna Dhor, who is the assistant professor in the same institute for the School of Computing and Analytics. Welcome, Dr. Suparna Dhor. And yeah, so critically, what I wanted to, share with all of us was the factoring that, Dr. Suparna, today computing and analytics is becoming a buzzword in terms of what is going to happen next with us. And as I shared with you, even a 3-year-old kid can actually play with the mobile, and I'm sure they can play with the computer as well. In this journey of computing and analytics, what I would like to begin with the discussion is computing as we know, the word computing, is primarily an area where it's doing certain procedures or doing some calculations using certain steps. Is that what computing is, or do you have something more to share with us about computing?
Yeah.
Shupurna, I think you,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah, if you could be a little louder, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let me use this better. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Uh, a warm good evening to all of you who are present today, and thank you, Jaishankar ji, for that nice introduction. Yes, and as Jaishankar ji was saying, computing is a very interesting topic today, is a subject area today, and particularly with this lockdown coming in last year, it has gained a sudden jump. Now, every student is now attending classes online. So every person, every professional is working from home, right? So people are using these technologies more and more nowadays for everything. The e-commerce has become so much more important after the lockdown, right? So practically we are living on the internet. We are, completely dependent on the internet and these computing devices nowadays. So it has really become very important. Uh, so yes, and for all of you who just uh, maybe are supposed to appear or could not appear for that plus 2 exams, and you are worried. So yes, what I would like to tell you, yes, the plus 2 exams are important, whether it has happened or not happened. You cannot help it. You stand where you are, but it is more important to look into the future. What is next? There are many more years in life, entire future waiting for you. So it's very important that you make a right decision. If you are interested in computing, if you like computers, if you like programming, and you're wondering what you should do next, you can give a serious consideration to these topics, these kinds of career options. If you have already made up your mind that you want to pursue computing, but you are still wondering what the future holds for you, I think we'll talk a little bit about that also today. Uh,
So,
so yeah,
Dr. Dhar, because these are, we are talking to an audience which is primarily class 12, where that's that crossroad where they have to take a call, which
absolutely.
is the career. So, to begin with, I also would like to know, because I know your background is little different from when you come into computing. So if you could just share with us, how did you take your journey from when you were in class 12? What subjects did you have? And which were the first graduation programs that in those days which you took up? And why did you take it up?
Yeah, right. So uh, I'm really an old person, and my career started more than a quarter of a century back. I was past class 12, I don't know, maybe 35 years back. So that's a long time back. And in those days, computing was really limited. Very few people even heard about or knew about computers. Uh, and at that point, actually, I took up mathematics in my graduation level. I studied in Presidency College with mathematics honors. And then I moved into a more specialized area of mathematics, that is statistics. I went to Indian Statistical Institute, and I did my post graduation there. And after my post graduation, I went into the IT industry. Uh, so I spent a long time doing computing. And at that point in time, there were not many computing courses available. So the IT industry would take up students from all different backgrounds. They Very few of them would have any kind of knowledge about computers. Most of them would have no knowledge of computers. But only thing is, they made sure that these people were intelligent and interested. That's it. And the rest they could learn. You know. So that is how my life started. I learned computing, I learned IT, and I spent almost 24 years in the IT industry.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I also got interested in the management side, and I did my PhD in it was in business administration with a information system specialization. And after that, here I am. Uh, it's my old passion to teach and learn. So continuously I'm learning and also teaching. And in the area of computing and analytics, the area has got immensely more interesting. Let me assure you, when I got into computing 25 years back, there were programs for business functions, for making a transfer from one bank to another bank and things like that. But today it is about everybody. It is about playing games. It is about talking to computers. You have your gadgets at home, all these personal digital assistants. You talk to Alexa, right? So it's doing all wonderful things. It's all very exciting now. It's very much more exciting now, really.
So coming back to a very critical point which you just mentioned, you did your mathematics, you did your statistics. So, the word computing, which I was trying to identify with, is the algorithm and the logic that we use for solving any mathematical problem. So the iteration, should I call it?
Right.
Did that logical bend of mind also get into you to see how could you kind of mechanize some of the calculations which were already standard?
Mm, uh, yes, this is, I would say yes and no. The reason being, yes, because the logical thing matters whenever we are writing any program. It has to be algorithmic. Uh, that is kind of a mathematical process of doing things. It has to be uh, very logical, how to make how to optimize that program. So these are, yes, mathematical things, but not so much when it comes to plain and simple, programming. But the statistics and mathematics become very much more important when we get into the newer areas, like say artificial intelligence, like business analytics. There the mathematics and statistics actually become very much more important, because all the algorithms are based on these basic statistics.
Very, very interesting. We will come to many more important points, Shuparna, because critically, what I am also able to visualize is a student who is in class 12 today. He could be from a stream which may not be just the science stream, could be from commerce and with mathematics. And therefore, as you rightly pointed out, that there could be that joint area between business and computing. You were talking about banking. So these kind of solutions or these kind of applications do require understanding commerce as well as the logical bend of mind.
Absolutely. And I'll add to that, because today the computing, the applications of computing are all around, even in arts. If someone has studied arts, may fine arts for that matter,
Correct.
it matters, because all these things, like whenever a screen is designed, how to make it more appealing, what should attract a person, in a user interface, that is all very important. So every aspect is needed: art, commerce, mathematics, statistics, everything. Yes, so it's an amalgamation of everything.
Point why am I raising it is because we are talking to a large audience which is primarily class 12, they should keep their opportunities
Jaishankar
open.
ji, your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I think we have tested it before. Yeah, is that better now?
Yes, yes.
So critically, one of the, we are talking to an audience which is primarily class 12. And if they are in class 12 and they are from various streams, the opportunity exists, and we should consider this as a great opportunity because yesterday I was just discussing that this seems to be the current future. And why are we saying it's a current future? Is also because we have to realize that everybody is now having a computing device in their hands. And we are using this device called the mobile for many, many computational work, knowingly, unknowingly, and that is increasing. Our density is nothing. Our density in a country which is 130 crores is hardly 8% in terms of computational work. So you can well realize the expanse of activities which are required in a developing country like India. And therefore, the opportunities, whenever there is a large industry happening, the number of jobs which are related to it are also increasing in those percentages or in leaps and bounds. Keeping this in mind, we have to start getting prepared. Again, I'm using the word prepared because we have to identify, and I think I'll hold back to what Dr. Suparna said, to move from mathematics, statistics, and then to information technology, then to business administration, and using all this holistically into academics. The continuous learning process and preparation process for the future is what is very, very important for everybody who is getting into this college degree program. This is where I think I'll just hold on to Dr. Suparna once again. So when we talk about computing, we also talk about a lot of data being collected. And this data, I understand and presume, if it is proper and clean, a lot of information can be got out of this data by analyzing it properly. And is that what computing and analytics is all going to be about?
Yes, computing and analytics is about data, about information, more importantly, because data in the raw format, we call it data. When we process it and it contains more insights, that is information. So we process data to convert it into information. Yes, it's all about information, and that is where business use it. Uh, and when we talk about computing and analytics, we look at different aspects of data and information. For example, there's a lot of data floating around today, and that gives an opportunity to all the hackers to steal our data. So how do we secure our data? A very important point. We are all using these gadgets, and this data is being transferred wirelessly or even through wires. But how do we secure it? So the cyber security aspect, that's very important. That's gaining importance. It's not directly data analytics. But it's a very related and a very important field.
Very important. And today the data is also not stored in earlier times like hard disks or on the earlier times when we had it in spools or floppy disks. Now it is, I understand, is kept in cloud servers.
Yes, yes, yes. So everything is on the cloud. Everything is connected. No, so all companies are connected. Even it's no longer within the boundaries of a company. It is across companies. There are so many aggregators who are working with a lot of industry-wide data, across industry data. So all types of combinations, and it's basically that is where the science and art actually come together. uh, that you just have to think what you can do with the data, what is available. The data is all around. You can get as innovative as you want to with the data.
So in fact, I think one more subject aside is also cyber law. Just like you said about cyber security, I guess there is also cyber law as to about the cyber hacking methods. Am I correct? So there is a
Yes,
intrinsic subject which is an interfunctional subject. Very
yes.
interesting. So Shuparna, coming back to the students, because they must be waiting eagerly to find out what is it that you have in store for us when we are going to talk about opportunities in cybersecurity and in data science. If you could just share with us what do you have to present for us this
Okay, sure. So I have a short presentation. Just let me run through this. So covered this. Now, all the students here, you are interested in computer, and this is really easy. What is a computer? If you had asked me when I was in class 12, I wouldn't have been able to answer this question. But nowadays, all of you must be knowing the answer, right? It is all of that.
Purna, would you like us to
Process
do
data.
that answer on the chat box? So friends,
Yeah,
what you can do is you
yeah,
can
sure.
quickly type out the choice that you have. So you have A, B, C, D, E. So whichever you feel is the right answer to this question or quiz, you can just type out that alphabet. So that could make it interesting and interactive as well.
Sure.
Okay. So we already have Ashika Sarkar who's typing out E. Interesting.
Right. So this one was really easy, and I told you the answer. So it's really all of that. Now let's move a little deep. What can you do with the computer? Yeah, if you can quickly type out your answers. Yes, someone says it's E, and yes, you are right. You can do a lot with the computer. You can use it for the fun factor, games, videos, etc. You can use it for your social kind of maintaining the connections, making new connections, using the social media. You can work with it. You can prepare your documents and presentations, create Excel sheets, and all of that, and much more. Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. So a lot of answers. Great. Wonderful. Very well done.
Okay, so which must have a computer have? Which of these must a computer have? Yes, again, we have a correct answer. All of the above. A computer has to have all of the above. And that shows, you are aware of the basics of computer. Okay, now come to programming languages. So if you are a +2 student, most of you would know what a programming language is and which of these are programming languages. Uh, can we have a quick answer?
Interesting. So we again got an E for all of it. Is that the right one? Python I thought was a snake and Java was an island.
Okay, the answer is all of these. Actually, all of these are programming languages. So, question, why do we need a computer? Why do we need computing? And we were already discussing this. Everybody is using these devices, computing devices, computers, laptops, smartphones, and then smart watches, smart cars, smart homes. Everything is becoming smart. Smart lights, what not. It's not just the devices, computing devices. You are wearing the smartwatch, you're driving the smart car. So we are hearing a lot about the smart things, and all of these require a lot of computing. And people expect, people are actually using these devices widely. Uh, like smart healthcare. So one thing that has happened in the pandemic is e-health. Many of you would know that now doctors are providing consultancy over the internet. This was almost unthinkable before the pandemic, but it has started. Smart healthcare is a little more than that. Okay, not just a consultation over the internet, making use of the internet and computing devices more so that you get your health services much more quickly, much more access to expert uh, opinion, expert advice. You don't have to carry your reports, health, whatever diagnostic reports you have, you don't have to carry them around. They will be maintained right there, accessible to whenever it is needed. So all of that, and that's very useful, and people are liking it. People want it, and that is where this computing is becoming more and more important. Like even in education, we are seeing that in education, in industry, smart city, everywhere. Every where we are seeing this. Now the question you can always question: okay, all these are happening, and these are big things. So how does that concern me as a student? Yes, it does concern you, because all these things are happening. They require a lot of expertise, a lot of skill, and that is a computing skill that you learn as a computing student. Earlier, when I was a student, I did not get to learn computing. I learned on the job. But here you have an opportunity to learn as a student and be prepared for the job and get involved in all this exciting work. So whoever is implementing a smart city, they would need a lot of people who understand this, how to compute, how to write programs, how to understand, say a smart city. One of the services would be, uh, say, tracking buses. You're waiting for the bus, and you want to reach the bus stop when the bus comes. So you need to have an app that tracks the bus as it moves along the road. And whoever has a ticket, has booked a ticket on the bus, will get a notification just in time so that that person can reach the bus stop and get the bus without having much to wait. So write an app, develop an app. These are broken down into smaller things and small pieces, and that is where you come in. It is the future. Everything will become smart, and that is waiting for you. Okay, so let's another quick check. What is a smartwatch? If any of you have a smartwatch, any of you have a smartwatch, you would know easily. If not, you can make a guess. Yes, E, yes, that's correct. You can do all of it in a smartwatch, a simple watch, you know, that's becoming so much useful. Question, is that difficult? Can you do it? Can you build a smartwatch? The answer is depends on you. If you think you can do it, yes, you can do it. If you think no, you can't do it, well, you will find it difficult. You will find it unimaginable. So maybe, yes.
Saying, is that difficult? But if I learn how to do it, and I have an intent and I'm very interested, I can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So basically, they have to have that zeal to do it. That is what matters, the interest. Yes. And you have to learn and be confident. You can do it. You will be able to do it.
Today you are saying that there are opportunities to learn.
Right.
If I have the willingness to learn, there are opportunities to learn. And
Absolutely.
the best part which you're trying to, guide young students towards this, there is a big future in this area. That is so interesting. You are actually, because
Right.
these graduation programs which are intent to make a student prepared for the industry, for either a job or for a business. So either ways, he or she has to have certain skills and competencies which are making them industry ready.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Very
that will
wonderful
convert the
point.
no to yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So have you heard about Digital India? This is, our Prime Minister Modi's vision to make digital India, to build a digital India. And what does it involve? It involves providing access, internet access with mobile to all Indians. So you see, all these 130 crore people, they become connected, and then they get information, or information becomes available to all. And then the electronic delivery of services, be it paying a tax or paying school fees or whatever it is, the services have to be available to the devices. And governance and reforming the government act, reforming the government. So basically, nowadays it takes a lot of effort to implement anything. So if we can use technology, use computing technology to introduce governance. So Digital India involves all of that. So right in India, for India, there's a huge amount of work for the computing and analytics students. Abroad, yes, definitely. There's a huge work, there's an entire world out there. But even within India itself, there's this huge, huge opportunity.
Before I come
So,
to this point of career options, I think I'm now going to a little diversify. Your organization, NSHM, you have almost, I was just going through it, you have almost 360 full-time faculty,
mhm.
75 visiting faculty.
Jaishankar ji, your voice is
My voice is not audible. Is that clearer now? Hello?
little better.
Am I clear now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I think just need to check on that. So critically, what I'm trying to help us understand is your organization has over 360 full-time faculty and 75 visiting faculties. And your alumni keeps telling me that you have a lot of industry interface. You work very closely with the industry.
Right.
So before I'm talking about the career options outside of this, so does your institute play a very vital role in giving your students a practical hands-on experience also?
Oh, yes. Yes. So we do have labs, and we provide all kinds of practical, whatever's happening in the industry. So like, let alone the internships, those are, always there. Even apart from the internships, on a regular basis, No, we conduct webinars with people coming in from the industry with direct experience in the industry, what they're doing, how they're doing things. Uh, we engage them in projects which are actually just like industry, and people coming in from the industry actually provide those ideas about the projects. So how to do things, how to build these programs, how to build small apps that can be very useful. So yeah, for the students, depending on the streams they have enrolled, they get to do hands-on programming, develop hands-on programming, and see for themselves.
So you have a question which is matching with your slide now. Somebody is asking, how can engineering and science students look at it as a new domain of job opportunities? And that's exactly what you're trying to answer. So students
Great
are
question.
invited to ask about what are the career opportunities associated with this. That's what
Right. So if I understand the question correctly, it's what is the new thing that is coming up? Right. So here you see the ones on the top, the core computing and application development, these are kind of traditional things. The ones you see, data science, cybersecurity, these are the new things that are happening in the industry. So if you just open any news site, you would see a lot of discussion about artificial intelligence, about data analytics, about machine learning. So these are the new things, right? For example, I just saw a news report today where Google came up with a new program that a device is doing conversation just like a friend. And Sundar Pichai showed a small clip where a person was conversing with the device and asking the device was the device persona was Pluto, and the person was asking, how is it to be on Pluto? Do you have visitors on Pluto? And imagine this, it's such an interesting conversation because no human being has ever been on Pluto, on the planet Pluto. Right. But this device has collected all information from all around the world, whatever, research information, whatever spacecraft has landed on Pluto, information from there, and has put all this information together and providing a very intelligent conversation. So that's very interesting. And that can happen only with all this data science, taking all the data from different sources and building a very intelligent app and making the app talk and making the device talk like a human being, like a friend. So all this is really new, and this is very interesting. Not only new, this is also very interesting, and this is where the future is going.
science is really growing, in terms of its application, and also in terms of the engagement and the fun that is involved in the entire world today, connecting to computing and analytics. And how wonderfully you're placed that all kinds of students can look at a great opportunity, and the only thing is that they need to see as to how can we join this program. And your
True.
faculty and your alumni, which is huge, and already I think one of your School of Hotel Management is amongst the top 10 in the country. And that is,
Yes.
School of Hotel. So therefore, NSHM has a reputation of engaging students and ensuring that the students are really coming forth to the future and building their careers which are useful for them. So important. So a very critical question now. You really made. I'm sure the students very interested now. I have one very critical thinking, which is telling me till last year, for joining any of these technical programs, one had to appear for a joint entrance examination. And this year, the board exams have anyway been. called off. Any idea as to what is going to happen if I were to take an admission to your institution, or one were to take admission to your institution? What does he or she have to do to take it forward?
Right. So, in the School of Computing and Analytics, we do not have any criteria for joint entrance or anything. It is, we have a interview for every student. We talk to the student and try to find out the student's interests, primarily the interest, how much, and also what kind of exposure, computer exposure the person or the student already has. And there is an exam that is conducted by the university. We are affiliated to MACOT. There is an exam conducted by the university for every student. So they have to take that. So that is the only criteria. Uh, Other than that, you just have to have the interest. And of course, if you have mathematics or statistics in plus two level, that is good. Even if you don't have, if you have had computer applications, that is also good.
You are associated or affiliated with one of the universities in the country, Macau,
Right.
for your program. So I'm sure all these programs are all, what UGC recognized and AICTE approved, as we call it.
Yes.
So, what
Yes. UGC
advantage do
recognized.
you get if you are a Macau affiliated syllabus? Are you kind of the latest?
Yes.
Because I have a connected question with this, which is when I started learning computing, I started with BASIC and then COBOL, and then there was something called DBase, and then Foxbase, and then FoxPro, and then Pascal. I mean, I remember that journey after which I don't know so many things I have forgotten more than what I have learned. So, in this journey, you also shared some new programming languages like Python, C++, of course, was there, Java, and there are quite a few new ones which I keep hearing. Now, tell me one thing, Dr. Supana, because you moved from basic mathematical sciences to IT. How much, I think I'll also refer to a book which I had read many years ago by one Alvin Toffler, which was called The Future Shock. And there he mentions about how mankind, how many years man took to invent the wheel and then to, the various other inventions. And the best part is in the last 30 years, since the internet age, should we call it the 1990s, the number of changes which have happened even in the information technology area, people say that in 18 months, things go redundant. So, how much is the speed of learning which has to be in this industry?
That's a very interesting question. So yes, in the area of in the area of technology, not just computing, in the area of technology, things are moving very fast. So one has to be a learner all through the career, and people who have anybody, all the students who has anybody in the IT industry, maybe parents, maybe brothers, cousins, whoever, would know that people in the IT industry has to do a self development on a regular basis. That remains. But there is one thing that if you know one programming language, then learning the second programming language becomes very much easier, because the constructs, the algorithms are all similar. They follow the logic is the same everywhere. Only the language constructs change. So you learn one thing and then you can easily move on to another one.
The corresponding question
So
which
nowadays we don't start with basic and all that. We start with Python mostly, or Java.
one of the participants had a connected question. How does the syllabus of the university do they change so frequently to enable that the students are getting the latest in terms of the subject in industry ready.
Yes, the syllabus is updated every, say, 2, 3 years. So it remains updated. And when we say it remains updated, things like, say, earlier the cloud computing would not be there. Today, the cloud computing is introduced. It's restructured. But essentially, we do not teach basic or COBOL anymore. That's not a need now. But yes, you have to learn database, and database is something that will remain with you. You know, you may move from MySQL to Oracle to whatever, but the database will remain with you. So you learn the basics, the fundamentals, and you learn some of the very current and applied things, and you will learn how to map them. So that makes you future ready.
Important because that's it's a connectivity between knowing the basics very strongly and then continuously developing oneself to be future ready.
Right.
Word that we use. So this is another factor which I think we also have to remember that the pandemic and the lockdown is also helping us not only to be constantly be prepared, but this preparation has also got to keep us future ready. And therefore, the choice of a course, the choice of a career is very, very closely knit with who you are, which course are you taking, which institute you are choosing, what are they offering, and how well connected they are with the industry. This entire journey is going to, because you have all the intent to learn, but you must also have the infrastructure, the faculty, the syllabus, and the industry connect to give you the opportunity to learn what is important for you to be prepared for the future. I think Suparna is taking us to that journey of a very exciting future. So Suparna, now to you
Yes,
to
and
take forward.
and I would just like to add to that point. We talked about the syllabus getting updated and all that. And we at NSHM, we are not just restricted to the syllabus. We go beyond the syllabus. We have an IoT lab, for example. This IoT is not really in any syllabus per se, but we have that and we conduct workshops on IoT. We actually teach students how to connect to the IoT device, how to write programs to make the IoT devices work. And so that we go beyond the syllabus and give students an exposure to whatever's new and whatever's relevant.
That's good. Because so you are also doing
So,
some extras which you are getting from the analytics of the industry.
right, absolutely.
So, that's important.
Okay,
So,
so moving. Should I move forward?
yeah,
Jaishankar ji? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so now students, if you just get back, we have another simple question about artificial intelligence. What is it supposed to do? We are talking about artificial intelligence and future in the future. So, what is artificial intelligence targeting to do? Can it predict a heart attack? Can it make cars drive themselves? Can it make machines chat with humans?
let's see the answers. Let's see if they're still listening to you and get some quick chat box answers to this quiz.
Mm-hmm. Anybody answering?
To see this quiz. So what can we do with artificial intelligence or AI? So quite a bit of them. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of them are still keen on getting. Usually quizzes are very interesting because all of us raise our hands and try to answer first. We got it right. So I think Suparna, you've done one thing. You made all the answers E. That made it very easy for everybody to guess. Okay, so allow me to go for it.
Yeah. So
Great, wonderful. I think we
now another adage that you may have heard is about the data is a new oil. Now traditionally oil was very valuable in the economy, and now today data is a new oil. Oil is required everything. Any industry you want, any manufacturing setup you go, there's a need for oil. And here now data is a new oil. So it is actually, if you come to this question,
okay,
would
can
see
you
this. Where is computing used? Computing, can you tell me? Does airline industry use computing? Healthcare industry? Retail industry? Government? Yes, the answer is E.
guess it?
All of them and every industry. The answer is E again. Yes. uh, every industry. So, when you talk of job opportunities, look at it from this point. If when you're looking at job opportunities, it's not only the IT industry that you can be, absorbed. An airline industry also needs an IT professional, a computing professional, a data scientist. A healthcare industry also needs it. Every industry needs it. Every industry has an IT department, and they need it. So the job opportunities are really huge. If you just open Google and search what are the best career opportunities now, you will see data science, cybersecurity, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, this thing coming up on the top of the list. Maybe within the top 10, every site, you see any site, within the top 10, you will see these career options featuring. We discussed this briefly.
You are obviously trying to mention that it could be from any subject, but if you have this, you must have most importantly your attitude, your interest, your discipline, and your hard work. That's very vital for any program and any career. So that's a must have. But you're saying that that logical bend of mind of mathematics is also a need to have. I think you put it
Mhm.
very nicely.
Yeah, if you know a programming language, that's great. If you don't know, you have to have the will to learn. You must be hardworking enough to do it. That's it. Okay, another quick quiz. You are all using passwords. You must all be having a number of passwords everywhere. So what do you do? Make it easy, write it down on the wall, or tell your friend, okay, in case I forget, please remind me this is my password.
They're quick at it. So they've now understood. They've actually cracked the code of Dr. Suparna Dhar. If those who are going to join the lesson,
Yes,
any MCQ
yes,
that Suparna Dhar will give, the answer will be E.
yes. And it has to be secure. It has to be, you know, you should not share it and all of this. So that is about the data security. And it starts with passwords and it. Now, obviously, you will guess the answer is E. If you guess the answer is E, let me know. If you guess something else as the answer, also you can type it out. Suppose you're developing a mobile app. You can think of it as an app user. Suppose you want to use an app. What would you like your app to be like? A fun app, a useful app, the app should be fast, the app should be easy, Or do you want an app that has all of it? Yes, you should have an app that has all of it. And that is where the multidisciplinary thing comes in. So if it has to be, it has to be fun. A fun is not about logical bent of mind, right? It doesn't come from mathematics or statistics or even a programming language. It comes from a different kind of skill, a different kind of competence. How to make it useful? You have to have the business understanding of it, right? So this is about the multidisciplinary, and this is where all people from all different backgrounds are needed. People with all different kinds of interests are needed. Even I said fine arts. Yes, every kind of competence is needed. Okay, now we do not have any. Here's a question that doesn't have an E. Okay, so how many Google searches do people across the world make every second? Approximately. Let's see.
That's going to be a difficult answer. Or could I search it on Google and get the answer?
Yes, you can.
Oh, even
That
now.
would add one more. The answer is D, and you are right. Every second. Can you imagine how many in a minute? How many in an hour? And how many in a month? How many in a year? Mind blowing, isn't it? All that data is there for you to mine and get insights. What can you find? Everything about everyone. A huge opportunity, right? And as Jaishankar ji was saying, I think Jaishankar ji,
Tell this also, because this is what we discussed. When you choose a course, it's very important that the person who's handling you with the knowledge, you must have the best of bestest who understand and can make you learn, because again must have also the constant urge to learn. That's very vital in these kind of subjects. You must be, as Chitana rightly said, future ready, and that's a word which I learned today. I think thanks to Chitana. Being future ready. The lab facility, the new practice, that's another vital and important aspect. The library, because constant knowledge has to flow. And of course, today, I'm sure the libraries are full of with access from wherever. But nonetheless, what is packed in these libraries have to be relevant. Otherwise, we will get lost in the news of knowledge. Affiliations, as I rightly said, that the university, the programs, they have to be affiliated properly, and they also need to be, what is called as cutting edge in terms of preparing the manpower for the future. They also need to have the vision for it. And finally, most importantly, are you getting constant practice? And that's very critical, friends, because many times, these kind of programs, you need to have proper practical exposure. Just by knowing the theory and passing an exam is one. One is not taking it away. But when you are joining a company or an industry or even starting your own business, remember, if you can do the job properly and well as for the most of the industries, only then are you rewarded, both financially, in terms of your happiness, and as well as your, stature in terms of your recognition as to how well have you done the job. Because that's exactly what people are looking out for.
absolutely.
The more practice you have, the better you will. That's the ideation of the industry itself. Yes, Shubham, I took away the slide because these are important things for my counseling sessions.
Absolutely. 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 So yes, these are, as you rightly said, these are the important things by choosing a career for every student nowadays. And
Yeah.
so this is what NSHM has to offer in this regard. We have good faculty. We have state of the art lab facility, really, where sufficient resources to build the big data platforms, to work with IoT, all the different gadgets required, all required for cloud computing. So we have all of that. We have the physical and a digital library, and we are affiliated with, definitely we are affiliated with McCout as a university. We are also affiliated with many other organizations. If you know, we on that our data science programs actually feature on the list of top 10, the BSc data science that we have. It features among the top 10 in AIM ranking in India, and all the undergrad courses offered across India. Ours is at number 8. And our postgraduate program in data science that features on the also features on the list at spot 11. And there we have the top names like the IIMs, the XLRI, and our data science program features along with them. So that's what we have, the affiliations and industry exposure. Yes, webinars to our guest faculty, to our internship programs. So industry visits, which of course nowadays is not happening industry visits, but all of that, we provide all of that.
These programs are both in the graduation and post-graduation levels?
Yes, we have post-graduation in data science and cybersecurity.
And the admission criteria, do you need to have a background in these to join this, or it could be again from any stream?
For the postgraduate program, from computing is preferred, or mathematics or statistics is preferred. And engineering is we have some engineering students as well who have joined our postgraduate program. So those are preferred. At the MSc, we prefer those things.
So you can be from other streams if you have these basic.
Yes.
Wonderful. Because that's also very important to know. Great. So NSHM as an organization, I think is offering quite a few bits, and has the admission started for 2021 academic year?
Yes, the admission process has started. I think the admission department is also here. They can come in.
I'm sure those students who have shown interest and who have interest in this and who are seeing that there is a future, well, you should apply to NSHM and you should take this opportunity to go through the role and checking out after the interview, because only if you're selected will you get admitted. So there is a selection procedure which will involve an interview and identifying your capabilities, and then you will be admitted, so which is fine. So I would recommend that those of you who have keenly shown interest, you must apply and see how to go about it. And the course is the current future, as I would like to call it. It is making you future ready. And I have one aside question for Dr. Suparna. I mean, you're talking about computing, you're talking about analytics. And for the last 1.5 years, I have only been online, staying in front of the computer, trying to tweak my microphone, trying to change my lamp. And I don't see my participants. I don't know whether they are awake or sleeping. I don't know whether they are happy listening to it or getting bored. Now, let me tell you one thing. It is so difficult for a person who loves to be out and walking and seeing everybody's face to be sitting in front of a screen and working. Do you think there is an eligibility criteria for people who want to be in data science and analytics to be also having an indoor personality? This is an aside question.
Uh, Nowadays, everybody is indoor by default, not by choice. So, uh, yeah, most of the children today are, basically glued to their screens. We see very few children actually playing in playgrounds, at least in Kolkata. There are no playgrounds, and there are plenty of smartphones and laptops. But that is not a criteria. We have students who are very good sportsmen. We have students who are, into artistic things. They are singing, they are dancing, they're doing all sorts of things, and that is encouraged. That is necessary. And just like I said, if you can paint, that's wonderful. That's a skill that is very much appreciated. So all kinds of competence are appreciated. But yes, the interest in computing. So you have to have an interest, and you have to be a learner. You have to make sure that you are a good learner. I know I have heard some people say that they want to join computing because the salaries are good. Please don't make that a criteria for joining the course, because you have to live with it. After a year or so, the salary will not matter. You have to live with it. So have your interest, and if you are interested, nothing else is more important than that.
There's one more question, Suparna, which I am highly interested in pursuing physics, but I also like computer science, data science, artificial intelligence. So if I want to take a part-time or online course in these fields, will it be a good option for my future?
Yes, definitely. Uh, you are studying physics, but you must be having, whoever is the student, they must be having some kind of career objective. The things that you learn in computing can be applied anywhere. You need to have that mapping. You need to understand why you want to learn that. So it can be applied anywhere. Like, we are talking about the industries, the airline industry, health industry, everywhere is in physics also, everywhere. So if you can learn that, that's a good skill to have, and it can become very useful.
Physics and computing and computers, a lot of areas have a common space. And, to go a little further, the interdisciplinary area in physics and computing. Computation and computers ultimately is a machine. Okay. It's using a lot of electronic components, a lot of electronics. And of course, the soft part is involved, which is using the logic. Behind it is all physics and solid state physics. Okay, so keeping that in mind, there is a huge area to work between computation and the artificial intelligence area, specifically for tomorrow, where you are having robotics and mechatronics, which are coming also as fields, which perhaps, which are the upcoming areas of tomorrow, where you will need a lot of physics and a lot of computing. Right? So there are interesting scientists. So we will obviously have that in mind as well. Great. So, Suparna, I think it has been a wonderful journey, and I hope, are there any questions from our friends? The students? Otherwise, we just take in case there are any questions. But critically, it's come a long way because the number of languages, the number of opportunities. Today, when we are working with the pandemic and when we see that children are taking online programs. And in fact, after this, the vaccination programs and the other challenges which we have faced with the second wave, students in the villages have actually enabled collecting of data from absolute deep rural pockets and put it up on the net. so that there are easy search methods, because these pharmacies, doctors, hospitals, and other facilities that are available are not easily available for uh, the Google. One. The second is, most of these rural folks are not computer savvy. We call it the digital divide. And there is this challenge which we are facing, that people are not able to register their names for vaccination. The students who have learned computers or learned using mobiles today, they have been a great support services, and I'm sure you would have read it, whether it is in Kerala, whether it is in Tamil Nadu, whether it is in deep pockets in Assam, in Nagaland, in Arunachal Pradesh, and West Bengal, to name a few states, where these children coming from local schools who have been exposed to computing have enabled their local neighbors to get registered in COVID. So the number of services that are listening to, that gives me huge hope that there are more students who are going to learn it formally and learn it in a way that is useful for their future to make them economically salaried. And there is, as I told you, it's hardly 8% of the density which is there in terms of computing capabilities. So therefore, there is 12 times growth which is available even in a country like India. Talking about countries abroad. So I think, Suparna, it was nice having you today evening, and I learned quite a few things, of which one thing I'll remember, I love the way you made the quiz programs. It was really good. It made me learn quite a few things. And the second thing, the word which I learned today was being future ready. I really loved that word. The coinage was really good. And thank you so much once again, Suparna. It was nice having you on What's Next from NSHM for class 10 and 12 students. I'm sure next week is going to be also as exciting with another topic. Till then, thank you so much. Stay safe, all of you, and hope to see you next time again.
Thank you all. Thank you, Jai Shankar ji. Stay well, stay safe. Thank you.